Welcome back. Okay, so I promised I'd be doing my Christmas cookies. I've already done 2 candies. So we're gonna start with, I think, the easiest one of all, the most Christmassy one of all. I did this 10 years ago with my granddaughters. It's a Grinch-Mas cookie. It's a crinkle cookie, green, and then we put a little heart on it to make it the Grinch. So it's so simple. This is done with a cake mix. So there's not a lot of mixing of all different kinds of ingredients. So this is easy to do with kids. That's why I picked it to do it with my granddaughters. So you're just gonna use 1 cake mix. You're gonna use 1 cup of melted butter. We're gonna use 2 eggs. And all this is room temperature. The eggs are, well, of course, the butter's not, it's melted. So we're gonna put that in there. And then about a teaspoon of vanilla. This is my homemade, actually, first shake it up some. I made this last year. And about a teaspoon of vanilla, maybe a little more. And that is actually all you have to put in this to bring the cookie dough together. So once you got the eggs incorporated just a little bit and it's starting to form, this is where we're going to turn it into a Grinch-Mas cookie and a little bit of green. You can use either green food coloring, little bottles like everybody has. I actually this year found neon food coloring. I thought it might be a brighter green. Let's see where the green's at. We're gonna put that in there. Okay. And just depending on how green you want it is how much green you're going to put in. I'm probably going to regret this on my wooden spoon. Let me get I don't want my wooden spoon to turn green. They probably won't come out. Well, I might use it in a minute. I'm just going to bring this all together to make a nice little dough. And right now it's kind of thin because the butter is melted. What we're gonna do is, wow, that's perfect green. I like that color of green. See that there? We're gonna put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. I just want this to firm back up. Putting it in the refrigerator will make the butter firm up. And that way when we put it out on the cookie sheet, it doesn't spread as fast. We do want flat cookies, but we don't want them all over the place on the mat together. Actually, that looks like the perfect green for the Grinch. All right. So let's see. How about this spatula? Perfect green spatula. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then we will get it out and put it in the on the pans and put it in the oven. So we stick this in here. Piece. Okay, while the cookie dough is in the refrigerator firming up, we're going to make what we're going to roll it in. That makes it the crinkle cookie. We got a cup of powdered sugar here. We're going to use a teaspoon of cornstarch. A whisk. Let's whisk that all together. So this is what we're going to roll the cookies in before we put them on the pan, so when they bake and they expand, little crinkles show up. We're also going to use a little bit of green sparkles just to give it some color on top of the powdered sugar. And since the Grinch's heart was 3, I don't know, a bunch of sizes too small, we're going to put little hearts. Now these are just little candy hearts I got. I think these are Wilton. I'll put a link down below where I got them on Amazon. You can use the red hot hearts, different things like that that you find at Valentine's Day. I don't save them at Valentine's Day, the red hearts, because they get really hard when you bite into it, chip a tooth. So I like these, they're little sugar ones. So we got all this together. I'm going to clean all this up and I'll be back as soon as we get the cookie dough out of the refrigerator. See you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I just got the cookie dough out of the refrigerator. It's been about 20-25 minutes. As you can see, it firmed up really well. So what we're going to do now is just individually going to scoop them up, roll them in powdered sugar, and put them over here on the tray. So I'm using a small, I call it ice cream scoop. Put it in there. You are going to get your fingers all nice and white. And I've already got the oven preheated to 350 degrees. And we're going to cook them for about 9 to 10 minutes. And if I haven't reminded you, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell down there so anytime I put a new recipe up, you'll see it, a new video. And some of you have asked how come you can't put comments. You actually have to have a Gmail account or actually just a YouTube account. It's easiest if you have a Gmail, and you have to open it or make a channel. You don't have to post anything, but that's how YouTube makes you do it, so you can be able to comment so they can track and make sure people aren't doing things they're not supposed to do. So we're going to put these, I usually do 4 rows of 3, so I do about a dozen at a time. I think I need to scoop. This one's not going as well, or my dough's just a little too sticky. Whoops. Like I said, I did this with my granddaughters, Chloe, Kaylee, and Kenzie. There's some pictures I'll put up here now so you can see the fun we had when they were little. Of course, they're now teenagers now. Chloe's 16. So, like I said once before in one of my other videos, I doubt they'd want to cook with Grandpa anymore. I'd love it if they did. You want a lot of sugar on it, so when they crinkle, when they bake apart, they crinkle real well. If you don't have a good layer of sugar, you're not going to see the lines as easy. You could also just use a teaspoon and make these any size you want. I like this, that way they're all the exact same size, they cook at the same rate, and I don't get some that are done or burnt and some that are still a little doughy in the center. So that's a good tip. Just always use the same size scoop on all your cookies, and it'll cook at the same rate. Okay, there's the last one. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. I only do 1 tray at a time in the oven. My oven's kind of crazy. It doesn't. If I put 2 of them in, 1 tray cooks faster than the other. So I'll put that back in the refrigerator. But right now I'm going to dust off my hands a little. Get all the powdered sugar off. And now I'm going to take some sprinkles, or green sprinkles. This is colored sugar. If you can't find it, you can make your own. Just put a little bit on top. I do give it a little press down. Try to keep them in there. Just gives a little bit extra sparkle after the cookie bakes. And the reason I push it down a little bit is because I want to make sure I have a flat surface to put that heart on there so it doesn't go over to the side. So just take one of your hearts, doesn't matter how you put it on, because once it bakes the cookie, you can turn it any way you want. I like to point most of mine down to the point down to the bottom. I messed up that one. Anyway, it looks like the Grinch. These are great to do with your grandkids, your kids, if you have little kids. Make memories. You've heard me how many times I've mentioned doing this with Chloe and Kenzie and Kaylee. I have those pictures, I treasure those. Hopefully when they grow up, they're gonna remember that. I remember doing all these cookies and candies with my mom, my grandmother, even my great-grandmother's caramels. Okay, so there's all of our cookies. 350 degrees for 9 to 10 minutes. I'll check them in about 7-8 minutes, see how they're doing. I'll do 7. Don't scoop up your next ones now and let them sit here, because they're going to warm up, they're going to start spreading. Also, when that tray comes out and you've taken them off and you've got this tray in, don't start putting those on a warm cookie sheet, because they'll start to spread again. Set it on something so it cools off before you start all over again. So I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Okay, so all the cookies are done. I took the first batch out already, have them cooling. This is the second batch. Made just a little bit more than 2 dozen. 2 dozen. Once you get them out, you're gonna wanna take a toothpick or something and just press down a little bit on the heart to make sure it's sealed into the cookie. Because a couple of these, when I took off, the heart fell off. So while it's still moist and still warm, just give it a little touch down, and that'll make sure that the heart sticks to the cookie and doesn't fall off in your container. But let them cool about 10 minutes on the tray, then put them on here to completely cool. You can see what they look like when they're finished. Give you a close-up view there. If you want them, these are more cake instead of the flat chewy cookies. These took about 9 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes. If you want them a little bit flatter, a flatter cookie, don't leave them in the refrigerator as long. That way the butter's not set up and it'll spread out more. But I like my cookies a little bit like this on the sugar, on these Grinch cookies. So do these with your kids, enjoy for Christmas, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.